Hi, I'm Sandra Corbeil. Bonjour, je m'appelle Sandra Corbeil, and I work for Ingenium, Canada's Museums of Science and Innovation. And today I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Editathons that we've done through our Women in STEM initiative. As museums, we collect objects and we tell the stories of these objects, but we also tell the stories of the people behind the objects. And we decided to focus on stories around women in STEM. And it was because we noted three things. One, that women are underrepresented in STEM. We also noticed that stories and the sources and the information about women even more add to the underrepresentation of women in STEM. And lastly, we believe that this information, these stories matter, that role models matter, that young women, if I can see her, I can be her, are inspired by what they see online and other sources. When people don't see diverse representation on television, online, in media, they start to think that that's not for them. And so we're hoping to change that narrative and to help inspire others. So we decided to do editathons. And if you've never been to an editathon, you can imagine that we have a call for volunteers. We bring in volunteer editors. We teach them everything they need to know about signing up for a Wikipedia account, how to do those edits. We bring them into a group. There's a sense of camaraderie. Ours were focused on women in STEM, so there's a sense of common purpose. We offer some food, which never hurts, and a lot of support as they work, because if you know anything about editing Wikipedia, it's important to support your statements, to add references and to cite sources. And as a museum, we're very fortunate to work with our library and archive staff to do that. They're fun events, and because people are really committed to it, time flies. We are able to, through the event, capture the number of words added, the number of edits, and people can walk away with a sense of the changes that they've been able to make. So you might wonder why we decided to do a Wikipedia editathon. And certainly while Wikipedia isn't where your inquiry should end, a lot of times it's where people's investigation and inquiries begin. And it is one of the more popular websites for that kind of beginning inquiry. It's in the top 6 websites visited, with 1.7 billion unique visitors each month. Problem with Wikipedia is maybe also its strength is that it is prone to bias. It has systemic bias. So there are more people, more men adding stories, more men editors, more men as gatekeepers in the stories. If you want to put a story online, you have to go through a process of sort of making a case for that person if you want to create a page. And who edits Wikipedia tends to be people who are not as diverse. And so it's not representative of the community. Only 16% of Wikipedia editors are female, and only 17% of the entries of notable people are for women, and yet I'm pretty sure we make up somewhere near 50% of the population. And part of this was spurred on by the story of Donna Strickland. Donna Strickland, you might remember, was awarded a Nobel Prize in Physics in 2018, along with 2 others. And when she received the call from the Nobel Committee to tell her this good news, she didn't have a Wikipedia page. Someone had tried to create a Wikipedia page for her, but she wasn't seen as notable. And so one of her co-winners did have a page, but she didn't. And so that story of someone who had achieved great things and not having Wikipedia was sort of the impetus, and it's one of the places we start with when we're inspiring our participants. So editathons can help change that. It's something that can help shape future narratives and maybe allow for those sources of information to be a little bit more balanced. Thank you.